plenty of tears, plenty of people crying for Argentina, but they're all happy tears because they go back, the defending champions, meeting Spain, as Dara mentioned, in that final on Sunday. An enormous success for them, Diddy, but you'd imagine there are going to be all sorts of questions asked about Thomas Tuchel.
Yeah, the substitutions probably didn't help because you feel that the goal by Gordon woke Argentina up. They started playing and then he made some defensive changes. He ended up with 7 or 8 defenders and all they did was defend their own box. And you've got to say, in the last half hour, Argentina showed why they are world champions. It was absolutely magnificent. We showed the side. We saw it against Egypt. They were backs to the wall. They were gone. 10 minutes to go, 2-0 down. Found a way to win that game 3-2. And not many people gave him a chance after England scored because we know how well England do defend the lead. But they created numerous chances. This man, we said before, Maradona, it's very hard to compare people from different eras. After this game tonight, you've got to say he's probably the greatest. What he's done tonight with 39 years of age, the way he set the goals up, the impact he's got on the team, the way he always shows, creates space for the players because he always attracts 2 or 3 defenders towards himself. It's been absolutely sensational. And you've got to say it's a very proud football nation, Argentina. But the willpower, the tenacity and the togetherness they showed in that last half hour, I've got goosebumps now sitting here. It's been absolutely sensational.
How they all get around Messi, it's really incredible. And I know it's their night, but Diddy said how England are so good at defending a lead, and how Argentina responded. But did it almost seem like England completely changed their formation? Shea immediately said, "Oh, it's very early to be doing that," and Argentina said, "Thanks very much."
There's loads of ways you could view what we've just watched and describe it, but I think the one person whose contribution is going to be most focused on and most criticised is the England manager. For him to tell his players, lads, just repeat what we did against Mexico. It's going to work. That was basically the plan. Hang on to what we have, circle the 18-yard box, have a cluster of players in and around our own box and in front of the 18-yard area and just hold on. Hang in there. The substitutions were all designed to avoid conceding a goal. When they conceded the goal, we all had the same observation. Going to have a team of 7 defenders. What are they going to do now? And before long, they conceded the second goal. Tuchel was the one who made the biggest call in this game tonight. And this call is always going to be judged on what the score is at the final whistle. If it works, brilliant. If it doesn't, it's on you. But that's the job he has, and the call he made turned out to be disastrous for this England team.
But when you're coming up against the greatest player of all time, regardless of whether or not he's 39, I mean, he doesn't mind picking around a defence, does he? Yeah, I mean, Thomas Tuchel knows that before he's made the defence, regardless of the outcome.
There'll be lots of, I don't know, the jury will be out tonight, tomorrow, and for the next few weeks in England, that's for sure, because the very first game, go back to the Croatia game when England played, the second half, he brought on, I think it was Rodgers, Saka and Rashford, and all the media in England was like, this is why we brought Thomas Tuchel in. Instead of just happy with the draw, he goes, we're bringing attacking players on to go and win the game. Look, they scored tonight in the semi-final, Gordon, in the 55th minute, and literally they all retreated to the edge of the box. And if you give the likes of Argentina, and especially, in my opinion, I said before the game, the GOAT, it's his first time playing against England. These English players won't forget playing against this guy because he is the greatest player to ever play, in my opinion. And again, 2 assists tonight, and he's incredible, he really is. But you know, what difference has Thomas Tuchel brought to this England squad now? He's out, they're going home, whatever. I know they've got a game on Saturday, but it's like, I don't know. I just think the opportunity was there, especially trying to go ahead as well in the semi-final. You get your nose in front. Now it should be like, right, we're going again. Because I said at half-time, this Argentinians, it's an aging side. It's an opportunity for this England team to actually, you know, grab them by the throat, to get their heads, get the nose in front. They did that and literally put the brakes on. There was a fear factor, it felt, from England. They just sat back, and again, we've seen this Argentinian team do it, not just against England, many teams in this competition, and England couldn't hold on. You could say against Mexico they did, and they had 10 men, but they had 11 players, England. Yeah. It's a chance gone.
But I think you've got to make an assessment of what this situation requires. As you rightly say, Shea, they were down to 10 men, so it probably made sense to throw Byrne on, because you know they throw balls in the box, and Byrne heads him away. But, you know, after they scored, you said, just 55 minutes. Did you need to make these changes? Because Richie said at half-time, they'd be gutted if they don't beat that Argentina side because they didn't show anything in the first half going forward. Now you get the lead. Now, do you need to shut up shop with 35 minutes plus an additional 6-7 minutes? For an entire half, do you need to shut up shop? Which always risks, you always take a chance that you get a deflection or a shot from distance. They hit the post twice. They had so many chances. And when the goal was scored, you felt, this is it. Argentina is on the deck. And the way they come back, I think, was partly down to the fact that England made these changes.
The message it sends as well. The message the manager sends on to his own team.
Psychological.
I'm taking attacking players off. I'm bringing defenders on. Straight away, it's like, right, let's just sit back and try and see this out. Instead of using the attacking players they have, both on the pitch and on the bench, we didn't see, I don't know, the likes of Eze and co. They could have come on and made a difference. Instead, we've seen defenders upon defenders coming off the bench. And again, it's a big opportunity gone.
I said at half-time they will regret if they don't win tonight. They will really regret it if they don't come out and show some attacking threat in the second half that they didn't show in the first half. And they did, and they completely undid that. They completely undid it by doing what they did since then. The amount of regrets now that they will have.
And if you want to play the way he wants to play the last half hour, he's got Rashford on the bench, he's got Saka on the bench, he's got to take Kane off. Kane never got a kick for 90 minutes, he never got a kick for 60 minutes. So if you do defend the box, bring Rashford on, so at least he can play on the counter-attack and maybe he can nick one or two balls, maybe get a free kick, or maybe he can score a second goal. So I think what was required, if he wants to play this way, which is obviously, as Shay rightly says, invited the pressure because he gave, I think, psychologically gave Argentina a lift. I think if you want to play this way, you've got to take Kane off.
Didn't they just take advantage of it so brilliantly, though?
Oh, they did.
Immediately.
Oh, they did, of course they did. But again, even the substitutions were saying it's a negative effect on the England team. It's actually the opposite to the Argentinian players. They're going to try and see this out. And they passed it. And they kept getting away, kept getting balls into the box. I mean, they hit the post a couple of times. Pickford made a few saves. They were hanging on England, they really were. But that message that Tuchel gave the opposition as well was like, we're not good enough to score another goal. We're going to try and see you out. It was. I don't know what's going to happen in the next few days about Tuchel, but it's a huge opportunity, a huge chance gone.
And compare it to what we saw last night when Spain took the lead and then got a second goal towards the end of the game. What did they do? At no point did they say, right, we'll sit back and hang on to what we've got and get our heads in the way and get blocks and just keep a clean sheet. They said, let's boss the thing. Let's get the ball and keep it from France. Different level altogether.
Well, Spain bossed their way all the way to the World Cup final. That man has done it again. He brought them to World Cup glory about 3.5 years ago in Qatar, and now Argentina are just one win away from doing it once again. Mind you, there's some tests in their head against Spain, who yesterday, of course, beat the big favourites for this year's World Cup. That picture says so much. Let's have a quick rattle through the goals from the second half. So, as you said, England came out, they attacked, and they got the just rewards.
They did, and I think this is what the game needed. It became a football contest in the second half rather than just the scrappy stuff we saw in the first half. But superb delivery, perfectly timed movement from Gordon. But we'll just see it all here. Kane drops deep. That's what he can be effective at when it comes off. And then this Gordon, the rifle sees him, Molina, and then just doesn't react quick enough.
So, England on top at this stage. You're all hoping that they were going to continue to attack and maybe perhaps find the back of the net again. Instead,
well,
as you
hoping
pointed
is a strong word.
for the sake of those watching at home, and perhaps England fans. So, as much as their defensive setup may have been at fault, you also have issues over what Jordan Pickford did in the lead up to the first Argentinian goal.
Well, it gives away a corner. I feel that he should know his angles probably a wee bit better. I don't know if you can see it, but this is obviously a shot from Fernandes, and you can see it clearly. It's going over the bar. I think you can take your hand away, Joanne, at that point. So this is where the goal comes from. It leads from this. Obviously, Messi starts it off, and again, I think it's the setup from England's point of view. You watch Anderson around the D; he should stay there. Enzo Fernandes is free as a board on the edge of the box. and it's a really good connection. But you keep an eye here in the space. He's got an edge of us, but watch Anderson as well now. Keep an eye on Anderson. He should stay there. He gets attracted to the ball, and now there's a massive space. Now they've got a problem. Bellingham tries to get out to get the block on. But again, it's a really good strike from Enzo Fernandez. I don't know if Pickford's slightly, maybe he's kind of leaning to one side to try and see it, and then Enzo whips it to the other side. I think Pickford's looking down the side of John Stones, perhaps. It's not gone in the corner, I might add, but he's hit it pretty well. But again, I just don't think he should give away the corner to start with, you know. I mean, maybe I'm nitpicking.
But you'd shown before that the time when he had done the opposite, he'd let it go and it went in over his head.
You can't win, you can't lose. But it's the goal against Norway obviously took his hand away, thinking it was going out for a goal kick. I just think he maybe should know his whereabouts in the goal there, perhaps.
Could you nearly sense the panic then set in amongst England because of the way they were set up? Now it was level, 9 minutes to be played in injury time. So it was full-on advantage Argentina because they had all their attacking players.
We said straight away there's a chance they're going to finish him off now. They were out on their feet. This is Spence here with the tackle. McAllister, it's about Spence got cramp here, so he can't really chase back. Gets help from O'Reilly, but then to put the cross in with his weaker foot, this is just sensational. He's so close to the edge of the box there, and it's just inch perfect in between Konze and Stones. Stones misses it by an inch. You couldn't put it in a better place. It's just sensational from Messi on his weaker foot. And don't forget, he's played 95 minutes by the time at his age, and the work he's done, the way he showed, because obviously after they conceded, everything went through him because they know we've got to give him the ball, because if something does happen, it'll be through him. So what he's done tonight, I don't think there's a doubt that he's been the best player in the last 20 or 25 years. That was just brilliant. And, you know, in the end, you've got to say England out on their feet. They ended up with 7 or 8 defenders. Obviously, they've made it hard for them in the last 5 or 6 minutes. They had to make changes again to maybe force a second goal. It was probably deserved as well. Well,
Diego Maradona, he would certainly be proud. We know what happened after he helped Argentina to beat the English. What happened next in the World Cup? They're back there again. Oh, they'd want to look after that man. I wouldn't be bouncing him too high. Lionel Messi, they certainly need him, despite all of those 39 years, as Diddy might have mentioned once or twice, for the final against Spain. Isn't it lovely to see a one-off, a first-off pairing as well? As in Spain against Argentina, the first time we see them play in a final.
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult to think. I had it last week as in going to be a France-England final. And France didn't turn up, of course, last night, and Spain controlled the game. I wouldn't say with ease, but just were so professional in everything they'd done. France couldn't get the ball off them. So it sets up now, shows that we're supposed to be experts on here, Joanne. We got it all wrong. We've got a Spain-Argentina final, and again, like we see Messi lifted up there, and he is, you know, he is the god. We had Maradona in the past. This guy is the god now, and he's just a special player. And again, they have to wrap him up now, get him recovered for Sunday's game. It's a huge game. But again, Didi done the second goal, the winning goal there, of course. That was Messi's weaker foot. The cross was literally on the 10-pence piece there, Martinez's head. The cross was unbelievable. One of the best crosses, and that's your bad foot. This guy is a genius, he really is. If he can turn up on Sunday one last time for his country, they've got a chance.
And is it brilliant to see, because we know Lamine Yamal has had all these injury troubles and he's been trying to work his way towards fitness, and he's looking like he's pretty close, isn't he?
Yeah, no, he's played really well yesterday. I think no doubt that we see the best two teams in the final. It was probably one of the most one-sided games in the knockout phase yesterday. It was a mismatch, and I didn't see it coming out with Shea. I saw England-France. Now we see the other two. Obviously, Spain played some fantastic football. I think they'll be a force. On the other hand, I said here 3.5 years ago, and Argentina won the World Cup, and I suggested is this probably the last time we saw Messi in an Argentina shirt.
You weren't
4 years
alone.
on. Now he's in the final again, so can't wait.
Richie, what do you say happening this weekend?
On Sunday, sorry, one point, the news broke today that we're now going to have a 30-minute half-time break in the World Cup final. Like, it'd make you angry with some of the things that are happening in football and in FIFA, but the on-pitch stuff, we now have games which are in 4 quarters, which takes in and around 2 hours to complete. So we're going to have a World Cup final which starts at 8, and the final whistle is going to be about 10:30, and that's before we get to extra time. I don't know what audience they think they're appealing to. In my life, I've never heard anyone say, do you know what football needs? more ads and more songs.
Well,
at
they're
halftime.
appealing to the American audience who aren't huge football fans.
They're ripping apart this game doesn't need to be touched. What happens on the pitch for 90 minutes, 2 minutes, 15-minute break, is the fundamentals. No one anywhere has said that we need to tweak that. We need to play with that.
People who want the money, is that not the whole point?
Well, that's it. So the game of football is being used to give really wealthy people loads more money. Who would be in support of that? Yes. Why should we be? Why should we stand over that or allow that to happen?
Isn't that professional sport in
No,
general?
it's wrong. It's just wrong.
It shouldn't be that case. I mean, every player has played all their life, 50 minutes break at half-time. That should never, ever change.
It's also in the official rules from IFAB.
It's in the laws of the game.
It cannot go past 15 minutes. So, now, they haven't officially told us, by the way, that it's going to be 30 minutes, but they have told everybody what the show is going to be, and it's going to take.
Yeah, FIFA wouldn't be the only organisation or group of people who in very powerful positions in the world at the moment who think the world or the laws or the rules don't apply for them. But it is just wrong. I don't know what the fallout from this is going to be. I don't know if there's going to be any appetite for people to push back against it, or whether this is now just going to become a thing in football. But it's
there'll be no pushback, will there?
Yeah, but there's a lot of people who say the game is getting taken away from us. And the question is, what's next? Now, if we put up with this, what's next? Because if you said 4 years ago we get half an hour break, I said no, it's not going to happen because this is football. Now we got a half an hour break. We got a drinks break, which nobody thought would ever happen. So,
well, what can anybody do?
Well, obviously somebody's got to stand up. That's what I said before. The Europeans, the federations, they've got to get together and say, you know, we understand we need to earn money, and the more money we get for the federations and for the African nations and for the Asians to develop their game.
But aren't all these
better.
Federations afraid that they're going to lose out themselves, and as a result they won't take a stand?
I think the problem is, for there to be change, someone has got to come in and run on a ticket of change. Go up against Infantino and say, we're going to reform, we're going to do things differently.
They won't get any votes.
They won't get any votes because you're asking the people who vote to vote for someone who's going to bring about a series of decisions which are going to effectively make them all less money. So I don't know how football gets out of this. I don't know how it gets back to what it used to be.
We probably don't get it. What worries me is that there's no voice whatsoever.
I know.
There's not one person who said, hang on a minute, surely this is not right. And
to be fair, Lisa Klaveness of Norway, she would be one of the few who would regularly say anything, but we haven't heard anything
That's one
in
out of
relation
how
to
many?
this.
But even go back to the sports science of the whole thing in football itself, we're talking about Lionel Messi. He's got to wait for 30 minutes for the second half to start.
Tell us about the actual practicalities
No, but even the
of that.
preparation now for him as well. How do you get the lads warmed up again, get them going? Half an hour is a long time when you're going to high intensity football. A 30-minute break, then you have to nearly take a second warm up in the second half. So again, as Rich said, it prolongs the whole game. So it doesn't do Messi and co any favours at all.
It fundamentally changes the whole thing. Like, it's now teams are being sent out to go, we'll season 22 minutes at the hydration break. Manager comes in, tactical changes, tactical input, physios do their bit, they have water, and they go again. But for a half-hour break in the biggest game, the most watched game, for songs...
We'll give you a few songs on here, do you want?
Yeah.
There you go. Even more reason to tune in.